we're the first, we're filming a documentary on mimosa pudica seed, and we were the first U.S. film company to actually be invited into his office to ask him questions about Ayush and naturopathic and allopathic medicine and how they come together and work in India, which hopefully we're going to bring awareness to everybody in this process. But Rajesh is a phenomenal individual, amazing man. And like I said, I mean, we love India. It's an amazing place. In fact, I was supposed to go back there in March. I was going to spend about 4 weeks in March as we prepared to break ground on this new facility. But with all the craziness happened, that got canceled.
Very interesting, Ryan. It's a great story. Thank you for supporting our country so much. Thank you very much. It indeed has a lot. You got to have an eye to look at it.
Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. I think we're just waiting for Matt. I think Matt will join in any time. So who's winning the elections this time in the US?
You know, that's a weighted question, man. There's so much division around this election, more than any one that I can remember. It depends on your answer depends on your current state and what your focus is. Small business people, business owners, ideally would want Bush or would want Bush. I was thinking the Bush-Clinton fight that went down, so that's why I would want Trump to remain. The tax breaks and tax benefits that he's put out for small business people is amazing. If like my parents grew up as school teachers in California, so they're kind of conservative Democrats, but their focus has always been on government policies, the opportunity that government jobs such as school teaching has afforded them. So their point of view is completely different. That's what's amazing about these elections is, although they get extremely controversial and they get extremely heated, it's the opportunity for people to at least exercise their right for an opinion.
Absolutely, absolutely. Wonderful. Alrighty, I think it's time we begin. I think Matt could not join. Let me introduce myself first. You should know who I'm talking to. My name is Amit, guys. Amit Koshal. I'm a co-founder of a company called Enalito. Enalito is a software product company based out of India. We have a software product or Shopify app, Magento app for e-commerce customers, e-commerce clients yourself. We help e-commerce companies to solve a lot of problems, ranging from customer defection, ranging from email marketing, ranging from personalization. So we have a lot of e-commerce companies in all these areas. And we have a bunch of clients in the US, about 25 clients in the US, and about 15 clients in India. We launched last year. That's me. Over to Brooke. Brooke, thank you so much for coming over this morning. Brooke is in the business of fitness and spa. She is currently serving as National Director of Retail Private Label Product Development at Exhale Spa. And spa, as we know, is primarily a business in which you got to go there and you got to experience it. And Brooke has played a vital role in bringing out the entire spa experience online. For the last, I mean, I don't think ever anybody thought that somebody could bring the spa experience online. So she has been trying everything to bring the spa experience online. She also has a clothing line which she began 2 years back, Brooke Coleman collection. Is that right?
Oh, I didn't know we were going to bring that one up.
Dug you up.
Hi. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yes. So the collection was inspired because of a world travel. She has been traveling a lot, and the collection has been inspired by her world travel. And she has a degree in mass communication and she lives in New York. Brooke, thank you so much for coming over. Looking forward to hear your views today.
Thank you. Hi, how are you?
Very well. Thank you so much, Brooke.
Okay, so I mean, you gave me an interesting introduction. I wasn't expecting all of that. I thought it was just going to stick straight to Exhale and what we're working on right now. As you know, Exhale Spa has about 15 locations in the US and a few overseas. Basically what you wanted to talk about was how, COVID and the closures and bringing everything virtually, right? That's mainly your focus. Well, and basically it's a well-being company. And right now there's such a huge focus on self-care. And we want to basically be able to bring what Exhale brings to our guests virtually, because now we're strictly we're mainly a brick and mortar store, but right now everybody needs what we offer. So we want to be able to bring it to them in a way that's easy for them to grasp and hold on to. That said, we're bringing, I personally handle all of the retail, which is all the products that are, self-care related. But we also have built out a whole virtual fitness platform and a whole virtual spa platform. And we've also partnered with Amazon with a wearable to bring our programming to people and, expand our reach that way. And it's, right now what we offer, it's so important to be able to bring it to everyone, because it's just, for their sanity and their well-being and their state of mind. So all the things that Excel offer are even more important than ever now.
Wonderful. Excellent. Yes, you nailed it, Brooke. Personal attention and personal care are definitely most important during these times. We can definitely use your help. We'll talk to you in a bit. Let me go to Ryan here now. Let me introduce Ryan, and then we'll do a circle of questions with you guys.
Okay, wonderful.
Ryan.
Hello. Amit, did you pause? Are you there? Brooke, you're still moving.
Ryan, thank you
I hear
so much.
you.
Thank you very much for coming over this. Yeah.
I'm sorry, you broke up just a bit there, Amit.
All right, so let me. Okay, am I good now?
Yes.
All right. So Ryan is also owns 366 Hits, which is a fully owned DJ mobile service located in Meriden.
Wow. Wow, they went deep on the background, didn't they, Brooke? Holy cow. You bringing up my DJ company in this e-commerce? That's fun.
Right. So you are all over, Ryan, and we're trying to bring that aspect of both you guys, that you are into multiple businesses, and you also worked as a professor in the college in the College of Western Idaho, and you also runs a podcast company named True Detox, and we would love to talk about it as well. Ryan, thank you very much. Thank you so much.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here. Yeah, the DJ company is interesting. About 6 years ago, I sat there and I've always been involved in music. And I was trying to figure out, I have 4 boys, currently ages 21 to 14, 21, 19, 17, and 14. And then I have a 5-year-old little girl who turned 6 this month. But I was sitting there trying to understand, how do I teach my kids how to run a business? How do I teach my kids the value of creating a product and service to others? And I had because I've always been involved in music. I had a PA system. I had a lot of equipment. And I was like, I'm going to start a DJ company. And there's a number of youth dances that are in my area. And we've done that for about 6 years. And outside of this year, which shut down the business completely, so it's been kind of interesting, we would typically do 4 to 5 dances a month, and my kids ran it. I would just kind of make sure that they got things set up, but my boys, all of them, they've ran the business. That's how they get their allowance. And so it's been an opportunity to teach them the business side of things. So 366 Hits is it's the only phone number that was available that was somewhat related to it. So we named the company after the phone number. But yeah, it's been kind of a fun little family project. But that is like that's a different story. Microbe Formulas is what we're here to talk about. That's my current project. I'm a co-owner. I have 3 business partners. 2 of them are doctors. One of them is our chief science officer. And we are 100% online with our supplements. They're our own formulas. They're our own technology. But we are 100% online, and we sell direct to consumers, as well as we have a B2B brand that is focused on naturopathic and health professionals that are working to boost people's immune systems.
Excellent. Wonderful, Ryan. Thank you so much. My question will be on this. You got 4 boys, you got 1 little beautiful girl, your hands are full, you're teaching them being an entrepreneur. So the question is, a young guy who wants to start an e-commerce company right now, what would you tell them?
You know, there are so many opportunities out there. You have to find something that you're passionate about. The reason why Microbe Formulas has been so successful is because my 2 business partners, Dr. Todd Watts and Dr. Jay Davidson, are passionate about the products that we have. And they are the main driving force. They're the influencers, the mega influencers behind our success. You have to find something that you're passionate about, that you have experience with, and that you could become an expert in that category. Creating your own category, creating your own space is critical to success, because people are looking for new ideas, new concepts, new things. And if you can step out as a leader in a new category and create your own category and become that category king, it really helps to jettison your products and what you're offering are. So you have to be able to identify yourself as a leader in a space. The technology behind and how you do it, that comes easy. Shopify is a great platform, and it makes it really easy to sell things online. But creating yourself as a category king, and creating yourself as the leader in that space is truly the important part.
Wonderful, wonderful. And that's what you teach your boys as well?
Yeah, absolutely.
Wonderful. So Ryan is very, very strong on following your passion. I think, guys, do not just look for opportunities. Do not just look out for something which will work. If you follow your passion, it will work. That's what Ryan is saying. You got to follow your passion, and everything will fall in place. And follow your passion with passion. Thank you so much, Ryan, for that answer. Thank you so much. I'll go back to Brooke. Brooke, tell me about the last 6 months of your life.
Wow. Well,
how are transitioning the conventional offline business of spa and body healing into an unconventional online entry?
Well, I mean, basically, when we found out mid-March that we were going to be closing offices and closing locations, it kind of like triggered me into emergency mode to figure out how we're going to continue to get our product to our guests. So I ran around like a lunatic all over New York City to gather all of our products, and then turned my home into a photo studio and a shipping room. And we basically just got everything up on the web store, made sure we had the products that people needed at the time. Like everybody needed masks. We made sure we had masks. Everybody needed hand sanitizer. We made sure we had hand sanitizer. Everybody needed their favorite skincare products that they couldn't get in stores anymore. We made sure we had that all, as an offering. We even developed some products during this time that were like immune system boosting gummies. We did we have a whole ingestible wellness is a big category for us now. So we have an entire line of wellness teas and wellness gummies. these are all really geared towards specifically what's happening right now. Also, luckily, we are in the yoga and fitness space, so where everybody all of a sudden is really hyped up on trying to, keep themselves well, keep themselves focused. And so, we brought our entire fitness platform virtual. Also, we have all of the gear that goes along with that. That was actually one of our top selling items, was all of the props and like fitness props that work with our bar programming, our fitness programming. Also, everybody was staying at home. Everybody wanted cozy clothing. We also happened to create all of our Exhale branded yoga wear and comfy clothes and lounge gear. That was kind of our forte to begin with. So it just sort of worked for us that we also had all of that available during this time. So it was great. It was just really, kind of getting scrappy and putting it together to make sure. And really, at the end of the day, the most important thing for us was to make sure that we can still bring our products to the customer and get people what they need quickly, especially now when everybody kind of just felt like they needed some normalcy and needed their regular routine in their life. So we wanted to be able to offer it to them. And we have.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Excellent, Brooke. So Brooke is saying that she pivoted from the offline business. She started also the yoga gear, the sportswear, the athleisure, the loungewear. And so all of these were new additions during the last 6 months. And was it the plan, or did the plan change in the month of March?
There was a very giant, quick pivot to get everything virtual right away. And if you just want to focus on all the athleisure and everything like that, we had Exhale product in development and in work. But at that time, with all of the factories closing and everybody wasn't able to actually finish production, it became challenging. But we were able to figure out how to get these factories open, get them running, get the product out so we can get it there, and it worked, and it was great.
Wonderful, excellent, wonderful.
Yeah.
So Brooke is suggesting you should pivot. If you haven't pivoted yet, you should think of pivoting and how fast you can implement your knowledge. That's what Brooke is suggesting, and she pivoted very fast. And so now you're using Shopify for all your products, or what platform you're using?
We're using BigCommerce right now, which has been really, really great for us. And yeah, I feel like if you just keep the customer as your main focus, and know what your why is, like why you want to be able to offer them these things, you'll be able to figure out a way to get it to them. Just make sure, don't get caught up in all of the rest of it. Just keep that as your main focus, is making other people happy, and it usually will work out for you.
Wonderful, excellent. So you are on BigCommerce. So why BigCommerce? And did you explore Shopify, Magento, others before zeroing down on BigCommerce?
Well, we have a brilliant digital team that works for Exhale, and actually the decision to use BigCommerce is because it integrates with our other platforms that we use. We are also on MindBody, so it integrates well with that. And that decision was actually made prior to us going into lockdown. So that was in place, which I thank my team for that, because without it, it wouldn't have worked. I wouldn't have been able to pull everything together.
Wonderful. Everything just fell in place in time.
Yes.
Excellent. Wonderful. Thank you so much for the insights, Brooke. Ryan, now you guys are 100% online, I'm sure. So you are doing D2C, B2B. I'm assuming you're on Shopify because you're praising Shopify a lot. How do you also said that one should try and become a category. Health and supplement is something which people are doing for a while, selling products online. How do you think one can become a category king? And
Again,
the question to that would be, your partners are doctors, so that's totally understandable of they being in this business. How did you meet them, and why are you in this business?
So I appreciate that, and I'll answer that question first. My background has always been in business technology and online technology. In fact, my entire career, I like to say, has been centered around a browser. I've done everything from back-end coding, front-end coding, global infrastructure creation. I've built cloud space. I spent 5 years in the Amazon cloud and building global infrastructure in the cloud. And so it was kind of an interesting time in my life when I was sitting there looking at what's going to be my next opportunity, my next gig. I loved the company that I was at, but it kind of, I saw an end there. And at the time, Dr. Todd Watts has been a friend of mine. He moved into our neighborhood. And I actually just went over to his house just to say hi and let him know that I was in the neighborhood. I knew his twin brother, and I've known his sisters. So I just went over to his house to say hi, and we sat down and started talking. I was like, "Hey, is there anything I can do for you?" As just, as a friendly, good neighbor. And he actually looked at me and said, "I need a CEO." And it kind of took me back a little bit. He, not knowing my background fully, he just knew that I did websites. Most people in technology, that's the biggest point of interest, that people are, oh yeah, he makes websites. My whole life, my kids, all they thought I did was make websites. So Todd, he said, I need a CEO. And at that moment, it was kind of that right synergistic time where everything came together. So what I had been looking for the last 3 years as a career change or an opportunity presented itself in that simple question. And he introduced me to Dr. Jay Davidson, who was the other business partner at the time. And we got on the phone and started talking. And I told him, I said, you're going to get a lot more out of me than you anticipate. And that's kind of what's happened. That was just about 2.5 years ago today. And this year we've seen tremendous growth. We're in 8 figures for the year to date. And we're just excited about the opportunity. So how do you then become that king, in that category king? It's interesting because it has to come organically. Becoming a category king is something that you can work at and strive to, but you can't force, because people will identify whether or not you're being real, whether you're being genuine in that space. And that's, I think, what has set Dr. J and Dr. Todd apart as the category kings in the space that we're creating for in chronic illness and being able to overcome chronic challenges in your health through detox. And that's been really kind of the key for us, is that they are passionate and that they are real and that they are true individuals. So not only do you have to have that passion that we talked about earlier, but it has to be real and it has to come organically. And if you're going to try to force it, you're going to be a flash in the pan. The real true category kings are the ones that are true to themselves. They're congruent with everything that they believe and talk about. They lead with excellence and integrity, but most of all, they're intentionally disruptive in how they go about it. And that's really kind of the key is, and I completely agree with Brooke, is that you have to put the customer first. Our core values in our company starts with people first, and that's critical to everything that we do, is making sure that we put that customer first in all that we do and the decisions that we make. When you're talking about from a customer support standpoint, it's how can we solve the problem? How can we solve the problem to their benefit? How do we put them first in the situation? And that's really the driving factors behind the success of our company.
Excellent, wonderful. Lot of learnings from Ryan here. So guys, this is what Ryan is saying. Ryan is saying that to be a category king, you must identify your niche. You got to follow your core values. Ryan's core values are that they put the customer first. They keep on thinking about how can they add value to the customer, what they can do better today, tomorrow, and day after for the customers, to being obsessive about adding value. They are in the business of reversing chronic illnesses using their methods of health supplements and the products. And be true to yourself. If you want to be a category king, it's going to happen organically and naturally if you're following your passion, if you're obsessive about adding value to what you're doing and following your core values. Thank you so much, Ryan. Thank you very much for that insight. I think a lot of people can use that today. Coming back to you, Brooke. So
Yes.
you are selling.
I'm
You
sorry.
are selling a lot of stuff. How are you bringing the spa experience online?
How are they bringing the spa experience? We have a wonderful spa team and some really talented estheticians who are creating virtual spa treatments where it's basically the guest is getting a package of products that they need. But there's this questionnaire, they're getting all their needs met. We're sending them a package of products that are specific to them. And then they're basically being guided through the treatments. We also have spa parties that are happening now, which has actually been really good and really, I think, helpful for people at this time because no one can get together with their girlfriends. There's not like a lot of interaction that way. So we've created these spa parties where people are having kind of Zoom spa experiences with their girlfriends, and it's been a lot of fun, and we create packages for them, and it's good. It's been really great.
Excellent, wonderful. So innovation is the key. I think we never thought spa could be online. So innovation is the key here. You have to constantly innovate and make people's experience better every goddamn day. Big commerce, using big commerce. So are you also taking care of tech part or just the sales and marketing part?
I'm really just handling the product and making sure that we have the right merchandising and right product for people at the time. As far as, we have a marketing team that's handling we're doing a lot of social media marketing, as well as like our regular, the way we, send out newsletters and blog posts and things like that to our normal base. What was the other question? I'm sorry.
So are you aware about the tech part? For example, let's say if I ask you a question, do you know what's your ROAS, which is return on ad spend? For example, if you're spending 100.
I'm not the right person to talk to about that.
Okay, so I'll ask a question to Ryan. Ryan, you mentioned that things have to grow organically. So are you doing ads? Are you making Zuckerberg richer than what he already is?
Yeah, absolutely. We have a tremendous marketing team, and one of the things that we've focused on as a company, and this isn't just because of the last 6 months. This is our standard of how we do business. We have a formula for revenue, and that formula for revenue begins. There's 3 parts to it. It begins with customer acquisition. From there, customer acquisition multiplied by average order value, multiplied by order frequency. That formula equals revenue, and we use that formula as what levers are we going to pull to increase our revenue. So, for example, if we're all in customer acquisition through click ads, through Facebook ads, through Google ads, that's an acquisition play. So if we're all in acquisition, where it does great and it brings customers to us, but how are we going to increase the average order value and buyer frequency beyond that, right? So we try to balance all of our efforts between acquisition, average order value, and buyer frequency so that we can be able to have a solid stream and a steady stream of growth. So our focus is typically 33 as far as our efforts going out, which means we're buying ads and we're doing customer acquisition through online summits, through a lot of learning and training, masterminding with other individuals with our space. We do, but then we also have efforts that are focused on increasing the AOV. We know, for example, we ran a promo last month where we knew our average order value to a specific targeted segment was about $132. So as we worked an offer that was geared to increase their average order to 150, 162, that was the targeted campaign. So we're looking at how do we then bring back this segment of buyers who have purchased two or three times, and provide them with an offer that will get them to purchase again, increasing their buyer frequency while driving up their AOV. And that's truly how we focused as a company to increase our growth across the board, is by pulling each of these levers between customer acquisition, average order volume, and buyer frequency.
Excellent. I mean, that's to all the people who are listening. Ryan just gave out his secret sauce.
Yep.
So honestly, Ryan, thank you so much for that, guys. The secret sauce is this: there are three parameters which Ryan focuses on: customer acquisition, average order value, and frequency. So, customer acquisition, you can get new customers by doing more ads and by doing submits and marketing. You can improve your average order value by looking at the frequency of people. If somebody is buying 2 times, 3 times, you want to push some couple of more advertisements or offers so that they buy more and your average order value goes up.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, I want to show you something. Let me share my screen. This is exactly what our product also does. So if you see here, we are able to do the similar thing for our clients, and I'm glad you just confirmed it. So if you see this dashboard here, Ryan and Brooke, we are able to do a customer segmentation. The segmentation is recency, frequency. So this grid is a recency frequency grid. Recency is left and frequency is right. So these people who have scored 5 are the ones who have high frequency. And the people on the left are the ones whose frequency is low. So somebody whose frequency score is 1, they are here. Somebody who's buying a lot more, they are 5. Recency means how many days back did they come to you. If somebody came, let's say, 1 week back, 2 weeks back, the recency score would be 5. If somebody shopped like 5 months back, 6 months back, the recency score would be 1. So affected, these are the people that the store is about to lose. 2,100 customers the store will lose because the recency is low and frequency is low. These people might never come back to you.
Well, not only that they might never come back to you, they're not thinking about coming back to you. And that's the difference. Marketing is, you look at old school marketing where it was a commercial on television. It was an interrupt. You're watching this wonderful show, you're watching a movie, and all of a sudden a commercial comes and it would interrupted your life so that you had to watch it, right? We've moved away from that space within digital marketing, and now our ads are sitting there trying to create that same experience, but they're not. You have to work better at it. And so the concept is asking the question, why haven't they come back? Why aren't they thinking about you? Maybe it's an opportunity that you're missing because you just haven't put something in front of them in a way that causes them to stop and look at it and react to it. So as you're looking at these different segments, you've got to be able to understand is, okay, so what you have there, and I love that you have your recency and your frequency on your graph, but the one thing that you're missing is what was their AOV, right? Because if you could turn around and look at that segment and identify that segment, the last time they purchased their AOV was, let's say, $80. Now you can run a campaign associated with them that then drives up a targeted structure to say, let's get them to purchase again, but let's see if we can get them to $100. And now you've increased frequency as well as AOV, and that's the secret of success as you're driving into it.
Absolutely. So let's say if you click on this customer segment, this is a guy who sells wine online. So if you click on this segment, you will know what's their AOV.
Yeah, there you go.
And then you will know what's their purchase time, what's their average purchase time, what's the repeat rate, what's their average orders per customer, total margin from them. And then when do they buy? When do they engage in emails? What time do they buy? In which month do they buy? And then you can send them targeted offers. Do they buy premium stuff or do they buy discounted stuff? So you will know everything about them.
Yeah.
Do they buy through email or do they buy from which channel do they buy? What do they buy? So you know everything about them. And who are these people most importantly? And then right. How much money they're spending, how much money they're spending with you, what's their average order value per person. So all of that. So we are on right track. So we have a product basically which does all of this, what you are saying. And thank you so much. I think that recipe is working very well for you guys. And thank you very much for confirming it. So superb input from Ryan there. Thank you very much, Ryan. Coming back to Brooke. Brooke.
It's just a chill pass. Yeah.
we will. So when this whole thing happened, and in the month of March, um, were you reacting or were you responding? And what mistakes did you make?
Was I reacting or was I responding? I don't know the difference between those two things. What do you mean?
Okay, so reacting is like without thinking much, you just react. And respond is you think, okay, you absorb it, you sleep over it, and then after a day or two, you make a plan to respond to it.
Well, I mean, as you mentioned earlier, like my whole background is in fashion, and I mean, as much as I don't necessarily, it was in fast fashion. So, and design and fast fashion and getting things to market and catching production schedules. So a lot of times when you're in that environment, when something happens, if you don't react quickly, you miss your entire opportunity. So you put it right into effect right away. So when everything shifted and changed, all of that just kicked right back in, and I just started going and making sure that we hit things immediately. And where normally within spa and fitness you have a little bit more time to kind of like figure out all the details and kind of like let it evolve slowly, in this situation where everything in the entire world was changing on a dime rapidly, everything to make things happen quickly, to catch those little moments and kind of optimize the for us at that time. That was the goal. So we did have to catch when people needed masks. We had to catch when people needed supplements. We needed to catch when people needed hand sanitizer, and also be able to actually get it into production and make it and get it there on time. We had to make sure that our whole website was functioning and people were able to navigate and everything else, and do it at a time when that was what people were doing all day. It was like sitting at home, scrolling and looking for things to buy. So yeah, I guess it was a little bit reactionary.
6 months, Brooke, what mistakes did you make? Did your company make? And you maybe something which you think, yeah, I could have done that differently. We shouldn't have done it in this way.
Mistakes. Well, I mean, honestly, we panic bought hand sanitizer a little bit. We got caught up in that because, of course, I mean, we didn't know when our spaces were going to reopen. We figured it would be in a few weeks, and we knew that this was something, and cleaning supplies and all of that, we knew that was something we were going to need. At the time, there was scarcity, so we had like a full task force, like everyone with location managers and operations people and everybody just trying to make sure that we had everything we needed for reopen. So we rushed to get all these orders in to make sure we procured that. However, we had no idea that we weren't going to be reopening for another 6 months or whatever it was, 4 or 5 months, depending on the location. And so we had more time to figure out, the best versions of these products and, different, we probably could have slowed down a little bit at that moment, but we didn't, because who knew what was going to happen next.
You have customers coming offline to your
yeah, we have locations back open now, and there are guidelines, and there are we're at I think 25% capacity in some places, 50% capacity in others, but the response has been great. People really they miss coming in. So yeah, people are coming back, and there are all the precautions in place. We are doing spa services, but there are there's new protocols basically to make sure that people are protected. And retail is picked right back up to where it was before, in location, and because our traffic is a little bit decreased. It's not at full speed yet, but nobody expected it to be. But I think we're in good shape so far as reopening goes.
Excellent, wonderful.
Yeah.
More strength to you, more customers to you. Ryan, coming back to you, what are your favorite Shopify apps and why?
Really quick before I answer that, I just want to echo what Brooke said, because I think that was really important, to be able to identify your strengths and how to be able to pivot and move. She's right, man. Fashion industry, you've got to be on top of things. And so bringing that experience into the online online side is so incredibly important to be able to identify a need and have the ability and the confidence to say, here's what we're going to do today. And even if that is just changing, like there are so many times, in fact, it's funny because my marketing team, my creative team, my production team has coined a phrase, a real quick, right? Because we've come into the situation where it's like, okay, here's something I want to do real quick. And real quick means absolutely nothing except for the fact that there's urgency involved in it, right? And so I think Brooke really hit it. And that's a valid point that we need to make sure that we focus on is be able to pivot and move and have the confidence to do so. So hats off, Brooke, to be able to accomplish that, because that's really an important part of today's economy. And not just because of COVID, but because people need to be able, you need to be in front of the people and you need to be able to move with them and make changes accordingly. And so that right there is a secret of success that I think that Brooke just identified. But so congratulations on that, Brooke. I think that's great. Now my favorite Shopify apps. So you have to remember, I'm a coder. I'm a programmer. I hate apps. I do not load. I mean, it has to do a lot to be able to get me to load an app that has the potential to slow down the end user experience. There's a lot of apps that are out there, and I don't want to necessarily name any names because some of them are just incredibly heavy. And they have the potential to slow down your site, and you don't know why they're slowing down your site. I've looked at Shopify stores that have 30, 40 apps installed, and there's no reason for them. And a lot of times when people install an app to accomplish a task that they're no longer using, or they never go back and remove those apps. Shopify is an amazing platform because it gives us the opportunity to have these apps that quickly accomplish things. Which is wonderful. Their API is phenomenal. It's an open API that allows you to really accomplish a number of different things. Their liquid code and the ability you have to do theme development, and they open up just enough to be able to make it extremely powerful for a front-end developer. But so when we look at installing an app, there has to be a purpose for it. I think some of the apps that we use the most are the ones that don't affect the front-end experience. For example, being able to export data and import it into a staging or development environment so that we can continue our development processes with real-time production data. Connectivity apps that tie us into our email CRM system, our sales management system. So those are the apps that we look for of how to make easy connections and integrations into other applications so that we can utilize the data that we have to be able to do the market segment in place. Most everything else from a front-end development is we've done ourselves in-house.
Excellent, wonderful. So Ryan is a hardcore techie and he does not believe apps, perhaps because they slow you down, and anything that pulls you back, anything that drags you back is something which you can avoid. You must have a purpose before you install an app, and the purpose has to be strong. It has to be very strong before you put the app on your site, because it can potentially slow you down. That's the learning from Ryan. Thank you so much, Ryan, for that. So Ryan, one follow-up question: are you guys funded or you're bootstrapping?
No, we are completely self-funded from the beginning. Dr. Todd and Dr. Jay both did the initial funding themselves, which has been paid back by the company. So we are completely self-funded, and we're looking for opportunities to grow. We're actually this year we just hired our CFO, and he and I are working closely at putting our financial package together so that we could be able to advance our growth. We have a number of product lines that, just like Brooke talks about the needs that our customer wants, we're looking and identifying those as well. And we have a number of product lines that we're looking at developing and being able to move out. And I think it's important for us to make sure that we have the financials behind us in order to accomplish that. Now, we're not looking for outside investment or anything like that. We're working with the bank to give us a substantial operating line of credit that we'll be able to leverage. so that we can move and continue our growth. Our biggest challenge is space. We're in the Treasure Valley, just in Boise, in the Meridian, Idaho area, just outside of Boise. And from an industrial space standpoint, there is 1% availability. Most of the spaces in the warehouses that are around here are small flex spaces. In February, we moved from a 2,900 square foot facility into a 15,000 square foot facility. And 3 months later, we have outgrown it. So space is our biggest challenge. And so we're looking at the opportunity to work with the developer that will help us build our own facility and hopefully be in that by this time next year. So we're quickly ramping up from a 15,000 square foot facility to anticipating a 100,000 square foot facility. That'll give us the ability to really take control of our own destiny. Brooke has talked a lot about supply chain and dealing with factories and managing supply chain through these last 6 months. And I think that's been our biggest challenge as well. We've had to diversify our manufacturing to 4 to 5 different manufacturers, and we're still having challenges for them finishing products because they've had a lot of their employees have been able to go on an employment and make more money than they were in the facility in their current job. And so that has put has had a huge impact on our supply chain. So one of the things that we're talking about as we grow and build our own building is bringing in manufacturing in-house. And how can we accomplish that? And will we get the right return on investment if we do so? And so those are the challenges really that we've seen through these last 6 months. It hasn't been a struggle with our employees because we've been able to provide a proper work environment and stability for them. And in fact, since February, when we moved into this new location that we're in, we've hired 30 to 40 people. We have 8 employees starting today with our team, and it's space is the biggest challenge. Dealing with supply chain and managing our growth is what we're really looking at as far as challenges.
But that's a good problem to have. Expansion is definitely a good problem to have. Ryan is making his company grow by leaps and bounds, and they are thinking of contemplating on manufacturing in-house versus contract manufacturers. They have a bunch of contract manufacturers who perhaps are not giving them great time because of reasons known to everybody. So before you start manufacturing yourself, Ryan is advising that you must identify and figure out the return on investment because manufacturing in-house has its own potential challenges, which you will see once you do it yourself. That's what Ryan is suggesting. Thank you so much, Ryan, for that. Brooke, you are selling on Amazon. Why should somebody not sell on Amazon?
We're not actually selling on Amazon. We've partnered with Amazon because they've launched a wearable fitness like wristband, like a Fitbit, but I can't think of the name of it right now. And we've offered our programming, like our virtual programming, to put on that device. So we're not actually selling any of our products through Amazon right now. I have sold some stuff through Amazon in the past. They not related to this product, but my biggest challenge with that is basically competitive pricing. There, as a brand in the US, it's sometimes hard to compete with direct manufacturers from overseas as far as pricing goes. You could, just to relate it to what I know, which is clothing, a maxi dress that I would normally retail at $150. If I put it on Amazon, there's something that, to the touch, it would be different. But if you look at a photo of it on Amazon, which is what your people are buying from, they could see something similar selling for $12.99. So that was our biggest challenge with Amazon. But yeah, that's it. That's all I know.
Interesting. Yeah. So Amazon would compare you to a ton of other products which are available and on Amazon who would be cheaper. And because everything, I have a book here, it's called The Everything Store. And this guy, Amazon wanted to, they have a vision to make everything cheaper and sell everything. How can they give the cheapest, give the product at the cheapest price to the customer? That's the vision of Jeff Bezos. Yes, so you will be compared to a bunch of others. So what are the advantages of selling on Amazon?
I think it's just the reach. It's just the amount of traffic, the amount of people, the amount of eyes that can be seen on, that can get to your product. It's just that it's so.
You charge a lot of a lot when you sell, like their feed.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you. What did you say?
Do they charge a lot of money when you sell something through them? I mean, their fee, their cut.
Yeah, I think they get like 30% or something. It was something like that, which is, it's a lot. It's a big chunk of, yeah.
Yes. You can sell on Amazon if you have huge margins, because Amazon gonna take away all your margins.
Yes, they will.
All right, interesting. So Ryan, tell us about apart from the analytics which you are referring to here, customer acquisition, average order value, and order frequency. What other parameters, what other key performance indicators, KPIs, do you look at to improve your growth?
So we have a number of, so again, you have to remember, I'm a techie, I'm a coder, I'm a programmer. So I look at everything in algorithms. I look at everything in ones and zeros, and how do I simplify complex business processes through functions or algorithms that will help me run the day-to-day sequences. I learned a long time ago from a great mentor of mine early on when I was working in the Silicon Valley, that said, if you're doing something over and over and over again, you can write a function that will accomplish that for you. Right. And it was kind of the same. It's the same process. If you're doing the same job or the same thing over and over and over again, there's a way to simplify it. So you have to look for ways to simplify your day-to-day activities so that you can increase your productivity and efficiency as a company in a whole. So one of the things that we've done is identify what are our benchmarks. As we've looked at our revenue coming in and compared those to our costs, on our balance sheet and our profit and loss statements, we've identified that we want to run the company at a less than 20% marketing budget, less than 20% operational budget from our income. So as our revenue comes in, we're looking at a 20-20 rule in the company, and we call it the 20-20 rule, that allows us to create and balance within our company and identify if there are any areas that we need to focus on. So that's one of those KPIs that we look at. Are we maintaining our ability to be profitable, right? Because we know that if we're 20-20, that means there's 60% there that can go back into new product development, that can go back into purchasing new product growth, as well as being able to do some profit first concepts in that scenario. So we've looked at that 20-20 rule. And it's been interesting, especially I just mentioned that we've hired a CFO. And as he has gone through, because one of the things that I told him is, I don't want you to change what we're doing. I want you to validate and verify how we're doing our business. Because there's a lot of people that will come in from a financial standpoint and say, this is how you have to run a business. But we've been extremely successful over the last 3 years. And now let's validate and verify what we've been doing. So our 20-20 rule is a perfect benchmark for all of our team to be able to see and know how they function within those 20-20 rules, from an operation standpoint, from business and finance, from marketing, production, and everything. So we've broken our company into these benchmarks so that they can be able to understand their role as a whole in the company's success. The other thing that we've done, and at the beginning of March, middle of March, when everybody began being concerned with the state of the economy, the state of their job, through the challenges that we've been faced with this year, what we've done is we've identified, and we have 2 big monitors on the wall in our main room of our building. And those 2 monitors are actually streaming the live view from Shopify. So for our Microbe Formulas brand, as well as our CellCoreBiosciences brand. So our employees can walk by those 2 monitors and see what the revenue is for the day. It's completely open. They know what's going on. They have access because they have to manage customer support. So we've just made it extremely open so they can know what our revenue is on that day. And then based on our projections and our forecasting that we've done for each month, we've identified what our minimum daily revenue is and what our minimum growth revenues are. So that minimum daily revenue is designed to be able to allow our customers to know this is how much we need to make today in order to keep the lights on. This is how much we need to make today in order to know that you get a paycheck. This is how much we need today in order to sustain our company, right? And so everybody that walks by those two monitors and those two screens see what our daily revenue is. And they know instantly that their job is secure. The other number that we do is the minimum growth revenue, or our MGR. That growth revenue is what do we need to do for this month to replenish and grow through a product standpoint. So they're two totally different numbers. One focuses on how do we keep the lights on and how does everybody get paid? And the other is what do we need to do in order to grow the company at the current rate of growth that we're at? And so they walk by those monitors, they look up at the screen, and about 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, they're high-fiving each other because they know we just passed our minimum daily revenue. And at the end of the day, they're looking at, did we make our minimum growth revenue? And it gives them the security to know that they've been a part of our company, that they've been a part of the growth, and that they've impacted those two numbers as we're able to impact the lives of our customers. Every bottle that we sell is a life touched. Every opportunity that we have to in fact, that's another one of our KPIs. Every morning in stand-up, as our company comes together, we talk about lives touched. How many people did our customer support talk to? How many people, how many emails did they respond to? How many bottles went out? How many orders were fulfilled? How many visitors did we have on our site? And those are all wrapped up in our lives touched numbers. As we focus on lives touched, the daily revenues and those sort of things that I just talked about will come.
Excellent. Those are some great learnings from Ryan. Ryan just gave out one more secret sauce. I think it's what he's saying is absolutely right, and I think we follow also that to the T. You keep doing great work, you keep touching lives, you keep following your passion, and the revenue, the numbers are just the outcomes, are just the consequences of you doing good work. You keep doing work, money follows. And every number, the growth numbers, and the motivation that these numbers bring to the team, and that this team is actually helping these numbers reach where they are, is superb idea, Ryan. Superb. You guys are doing superb work. I have no doubt that you're gonna be a unicorn or a octagon. There they say somebody who has over $100 billion revenue, $100 billion valuation. I think you are on your way. Thank you so much. Thank you very much for that input. In this last round, if any of you have questions to be asked to one another, to each other, please go ahead and shoot.
Well, I mean, oh gosh. Very realistically, I would love to talk to Ryan some more, but right now I really have to jump off because I have like meetings and stuff that I have to go to, and work that has to get done. So is it possible for me to jump off and you to continue with Ryan right now?
Yes.
Well, Brooke, I just want to say it's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure to have you on here. And it's so interesting as people look at the different verticals in the online space and what you've done to pivot and move. Man, what a great example of entrepreneurship in general. I mean, the ability to identify the needs of the customers and then go out and get it. And I know that stems from your experience that you have in clothing and in that space, but you brought it to a new market and driving that in. I love the virtual spa treatments that you guys do. Education is a big part in anything online. You have to be able to educate your people on how to use the product, and you've nailed that in that virtual spa treatment. So I'm excited. In fact, I'm actually going to send my wife over to take a look at your guys' site and see if there's anything there, because I think that's brilliant what you've accomplished.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, I mean, I can't take credit for that. That would be our director of spa, her name is Rachel Gallo, and she's created that virtual spa treatment. So that's great. But thank you, and you're a brilliant speaker, Ryan, and it was a pleasure.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brooke. Thank you very much, Ryan. We'll just continue for 5 more minutes, and then we can put the discussion off. Ryan, thank you so much very much Your inputs are actually fabulous. And as you know, we have a product on AI and ML based product for Shopify, Magento, BigCommerce, WooCommerce.
Right.
I would like to get some, since you are a techie and you are a programmer and your insights and your advice is totally exceptional. I would like to pick up your brain for 25 minutes anytime in this week. I want to show you my product and understand from you if it's possible, if you can improve it somehow. Some
Sure.
of
In
people
fact, I'd love to get Dave Huffman, who's our VP of Marketing, and Spencer Matthews, who's our my Chief of Staff, on just to look at it. I was intrigued with your quick dashboard that you had and how you tie into there. So yeah, I would be willing. Why don't you send me an email and see if there's a time that we could get scheduled, and I'd appreciate that.
Excellent, wonderful. So can we do it on maybe Wednesday? Works for you?
Tuesday or Thursday or Friday might be better. Just Wednesdays are tough days for us in general because of our other stand-ups, our midweek meetings that we have. But let's see if there's a time early in the morning that we can come together and send me out some options, and I'll check with Spencer and Dave and see if we can get them together.
So sounds good. Sounds like a plan.
All right. Hey, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. It was fun. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be dissecting this video into small pieces, 5 videos, and sending out different channels, and we'll tag you as well.
Wonderful.
I will look forward to speaking to you again this week.
All right. And hey, next time I'm in Mumbai, I'm going to look you up, and we'll go to my favorite restaurant is there's a couple of them in Mumbai that I love, and I'll take you out and we'll enjoy some good dinner.
I'll give you a shout. Please give me a shout.
All right. Hey, thank you.
Take yourself. Bye-bye.
Bye.